Fuentes' question about this, and I want to read some of this to you so you understand, okay? It says, Nick Fuentes, are you currently employed? He pleads the fifth. What is your source of income? Fifth Amendment, he pleads. Do you have a role in the America First Foundation? Fifth Amendment. Mr. Fuentes, Mr. Durkin, I have a series of questions related to Mr. Fuentes' involvement with the America First Foundation. It is your intention to assert the Fifth Amendment in response to any questions that the committee might have about your involvement in the America First Foundation? Yes, yes, yes. Pled the fifth. Now, I had to do something of a hodgepodge related to this video because the subject matter that is critical to the conversation has to do with an incident that is almost always very restrictive of how many people we show my video. So I just want to say this right now, okay? The thesis that I am making is that if this gentleman, Nick Fuentes, was never put in handcuffs as a result of the leaked video that we are going to look at shortly, then does that mean that he is currently compromised in a way where they can lean on him and pull his string and get him to say certain things? Because at the end of the day, the fact that he was not in bracelets makes zero sense after seeing this video that I'm going to show you later. And so maybe, you know, there are certain things that he says publicly that have been fed to him by a group of people who agreed to not put him in prison in exchange for this type of thing. That's my thesis. I'm not saying it's for sure, but take a look for yourself. That is what we are going to cover in this video later. Yeah, so my crew went ham on Nick Fuentes in the last 24 hours. And I'm like, all right, you know, like, let me see what's going on. And let's see if I need to contribute to this. Because I'm not going to just be some spaz that's just going to be like, all right, let's dogpile this guy. But I do certainly feel as though if I didn't show you guys this image right here, I would be doing a disservice to everyone on the internet, because that is so funny, dude. That is so funny. Look at Destiny's face. Now, the big kind of thing that started all of this was Nick Fuentes going on to Steven Crowder, or I don't know, on his own channel, and basically just being like, all these people who are saying that Charlie Kirk's assassination is anything. Where's the evidence? Show it to me. It's like, I mean, really? I mean, we could certainly relitigate that, but I feel between myself, Ian Carroll, Valhalla, Dan, big heavy duty country, big heavy duty country, JD obviously, I don't know if JD's done a lot of Charlie Kirk assassination stuff. Either way, okay, like between our channels and the others that have been doing like massive research on this case, the idea that all of us are just crazy to think that the official narrative makes no sense is ludicrous, okay? Now I'm going to show you some clips here, and but the main thing that I wanted to show you guys with this particular video is I got two clips that I want to show you. One of them is favorable to Nick Fuentes. The other one is very much not, right? So I probably will have alluded to this in the title, thumbnail, whatever, but there's a clip that from January 6th of Nick Fuentes, and listen, okay, I've heard all this, like, this guy's a Fed, this guy's a Fed, this guy's a Fed, this guy's a Fed. Everybody's looking for Feds, dude. But I have never seen a video that more so I was like, that guy's a Fed. Now, this is the video in question, the Fed video. And it happened on a day, a very infamous day, where I have learned that when I talk about that particular incident, which was in a January, a brisk January afternoon in D.C. Anytime I talk about that topic, my reach is limited by about 70%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that section in the latter half of the video. So I've got some great stuff starting out, and the Fed stuff is going to be in the second half of the video. But buckle up, you're going to be entertained, I promise, because there's a lot of other Nick Fuentes stuff for it to go through first, like this right here. Let's start right here. Okay, so this is important for one specific reason. Okay, this is something that came out in August that someone sent me today, and it's like, all right, so the reason why you need to take things with a grain of salt when it's said about Nick Fuentes and you did not have or hear him personally say it is this right here. Okay, here's Milo Yiannopoulos speaking about when he's been offered money to trash Nick Fuentes.
Retribution as a service side of things is when a useful idiot has outlived their usefulness. For instance, Nick Fuentes or Laura Loomer, I will occasionally be called and offered vast sums of money to get rid of them.
By who?
That must remain a matter for me and the family. But retribution.
So yeah, I mean that's Milo, right? I've heard him say a lot of things. I've never heard him lie, dude. I've never heard him get caught in a lie. I believed him every time he talked about a gigantic black Muslim pounding him into oblivion. I believe him, dude. I believe that is exactly what happened. Kind of makes me wonder if what was happening during his Tucker interview was he took some money. I don't know, man. I don't know. And then I got a big surprise for you after this. Like, is this him taking a bunch of money to get rid of Nick Fuentes in a super clever way? Let's see.
I have to be honest with you. I bear some responsibility for this because it was me 10 years ago mainstreaming homosexuality into the Republican Party is the great regret of my life, more so than anything I've done to my own soul, which is a lot. It's the great regret of my life because it has given rise to horrors I never imagined. I mean, say Lenin said, all revolutionaries come to hate their children. Well, the gay horrors that I've given birth to, Lady Marga, Nick Fuentes, keep me up at night. They keep me up at night.
That's a pretty clever way to out him as gay, Pretty clever. Very genuine it came off to me. Now, let me say this. This guy, Milo, is one of the most talented on-screen personalities I've ever seen. Like, this dude is just walking charisma, right? But guess what, dude? Charismatic people take money to say things, right? How would he know if Nick Fuentes is gay? Oh, there's that, right? There's that. But, taking a picture with a guy doesn't necessarily mean that he's gay. That said, this is very suspect to me that what is going on here is that he took money in order to go out and out Nick Fuentes as gay on the biggest show in the world, right? Before Candace became that for a while, I mean, do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, here's this thing from 6 months ago. He's like, yeah, I get offered a mountain of money to get rid of Nick Fuentes. And what's hilarious, this is actually the funniest part about this is like, these guys really think that if it turned out, if Nick Fuentes was like, yeah, dude, I am gay, that's like the end of his movement. That's dumb, dude. If he leans into it, it would just make him stronger, my opinion. Hey, you know what would make you stronger is if you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and click the bell, and then all notifications so you know every single time I upload. And also, once you comment on this, just do whatever you want, man. I'm just asking. You can do it or you don't, whatever. Now, before I lose everyone, I just wanted to point something out before I show you some clips from my buddy's videos, Ian and Valhalla specifically. But like when Fuentes went on Steven Crowder, and Crowder was like, let's get this out of the way. Do you think that whites are better than blacks? And he's like, absolutely not. He's like, do you think all Jews or whatever? He's like, no. And he got torched because everyone's like, bro, like you can't, you're too big to pretend that what you're saying on your main platform is not what you actually think. Like you're way too big for that. You can't play Mr. Nice Guy when you go on Crowder. Everybody's seen your stuff now. And then after he got torched a little bit, look at what he did today on Piers Morgan. Okay, watch these clips real quick, and then we'll look at the January 6th stuff. I promise.
Jews, women, and blacks. Let's just take a listen.
They're always coming up with, no, it's not the Jews. No, it's not women. No, it's not blacks. It's actually really complicated. No, it fucking isn't at all. Jews are running society. Women need to shut the fuck up. Blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part. And we would live in paradise. It's that simple.
Okay. Would you like to clarify what you meant there?
That's all true. That's 100% true. Everything I said in that clip is true.
Including that blacks need to be imprisoned for the most part.
Yeah.
The thing about the internet, dude, is that if you want to make your point, like if you're like, yeah, of course they should all be in prison. It's like, you don't have to look very far to bring up like anecdotal evidence here, and people are like, geez, like I'll give you a perfect example, right? Like this is a story that, just dropped on whatever leftism for you today.
White MAGA family showed up at my restaurant. I'm going to put Windex in their food. Some type of toilet cleaner, saliva, feces.
Who do you think is doing more damage to the black community with the things that they said on the internet? Okay? Katya. Nick Fuentes, who just made some generalized statement that is based on like whatever. Or you, who just said you'll feed saliva, toilet cleaner, feces to my children if I come into your restaurant. To be clear, you are mad at me because I voted for the other candidate. So you fed feces to my children. Okay? Who do you think has more reason to be outraged? They voted for the other guy, man. Oh my God. Like, just shut up. Okay? Shut your stupid face. Do I agree with Nick Fuentes that, the majority of blacks should be in prison? No, obviously not. What I believe is that the majority of leftists are psychopaths like you. Okay? You just happen to have the overlap of, oh my God, I've been victimized my whole life because I'm black. Cry me a river, man. Okay? There's one kind of big guy who's saying things like, oh yeah, the majority of blacks should be in prison. Oh no, one guy. There's 1,000 of you for every, there's like 100,000 of you for every one Nick Fuentes. So everybody who's crying about Nick Fuentes saying stuff, like, give me a break, okay? Oh my God, I want to be able to make a better life for myself, but there's no opportunities in America. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Because they definitely wouldn't let you into any of these Ivy League schools because you're black. Oh, wait, I forgot. You get priority and your grades don't have to be as good. But that's fine. Really a victim of the system. And now we get into the Fed hunt. The Fed hunt portion of this video. Okay. So we're going to take a look at this right here. But first, we're going to look at some very important context of why this indicates exactly what we're laying out, which is potentially a Fed, because how does this exist if he was not arrested? Okay. How does this exist if Nick Fuentes was not arrested? In order to bolster that point, we're going to take another look at Ray Epps real quick. Yeah. And this is really important because Ray Epps, ultimately ended up getting charged with like littering or something, loitering at the Capitol. He is literally the most guilty person of this entire thing. And everybody knew that he clearly had been working with the government because nothing ever happened to him. They arrested everyone who even walked inside of the building. They were like, hello, I just followed the crowd and I really wanted to see what the inside of the Capitol looks like. They're all, why don't you enjoy the next 5 years in prison, dude or girl or old lady? You know what I mean? But this dude didn't get thrown in the slammer. This guy's 6'10", and he's like, everybody get into the Capitol. We need to really f this place up, man. We got to destroy this country for the man. And you're all, this guy didn't seem like he rose to the level of worth arrest, right? But that a 75-year-old lady did, okay? That's how everybody knew he was a Fed, okay? Very obvious. When we get to that part, I will show you those clips again, super quick. Don't worry, guys. Someone compiled this. It's 2 minutes long, and it's all of the videos that existed of Ray Epps, which is how we all knew that within a margin of error of certainty being like 0.001%, we knew he was either an intelligence operative or an asset or whatever, because he's the only one that didn't get arrested. All right, I made a decision. I'm actually cutting that entire section out because everyone's seen it, right? If you're watching my channel, you've already seen all of those videos. And so we're just going to move to this again. And I don't want to bore you with watching the same stuff. But again, to reiterate, that guy did not get arrested and he's the only one. Getting to the meat and bones of this particular thing though, here is the video that emerged of Nick Fuentes that I believe is extraordinarily suspicious. This is basically, I'm going to tell you right now, this is either AI or he's guilty, okay? He's either AI or he really is a Fed, in my opinion. Okay, actually, I take that back. You only have two options of him not being a Fed. One would be that this is AI, okay? Two would be that for some unforeseen or unimaginable reason, no one had seen this video from the DOJ or any of the many people who have wanted to bury Nick Fuentes. Okay, no one's seen it until right now, right? 17 hours ago. Aside from that, how on earth would he have not been arrested for this? Okay, watch.
Keep moving towards the Capitol. It appears we are taking the Capitol back. Keep marching and don't relent. Never relent. Yeah! Break down the barriers and disregard the police. This Capitol belongs to us.
Break down the barriers, disregard the police. We're taking over the Capitol. Never arrested for this. Guys, it's Nick Fuentes. He's been debanked, supposedly. He's been kicked off of the, or on the list where he can't even fly on a plane. And this video existed and he never got arrested? Make that make sense. We're disregarding police. Break down the barriers? I mean, what does anybody do with that? That's Ray Epps level.
They're evacuating the Capitol! They're evacuating the Capitol! They're evacuating the Capitol! The police are evacuating the Capitol! Politicians drove wrath! Scurry out of the people's house!
So, from my perspective, that needs to get explained. Simple as that, dude. If that's real and anyone at all had seen that before, how was he not in handcuffs? So he is questioned about this, all right? Fuentes is questioned about this, and I want to read some of this to you so you understand, okay? It says, Nick Fuentes, are you currently employed? He says, and he says, Nick, upon the advice of my reliance upon the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, I must respectfully refuse to answer the question on the grounds that it might incriminate me. What is your source of income? Fifth Amendment, he pleads. Do you have a role in the America First Foundation? Fifth Amendment. Mr. Fuentes, Mr. Durkin, I have a series of questions related to Mr. Fuentes' involvement with the America First Foundation. It is your intention to assert the Fifth Amendment in response to any questions that the committee might have about your involvement in the America First Foundation? Yes, yes, yes. Pled the Fifth, right? How would you possibly explain that video being in existence? Now, I want to show you a little bit of this too, okay? So, actually, let me start you guys here. So look at, this is, so to be, to go backwards, right? Actually, you know what? Valhalla is actually going to show you a clip of wait, what is this saying right here? Anyway, Valhalla is going to show you a clip of Nick Fuentes talking shit. And, let's see if there's the hype button. He doesn't, how am I excluded from hyping things, dude? I don't get it. Anyway, I'll let him talk, though.
Ian Carroll, the conspiracy theorist,
See that right out the gate. Nick should know better than to do that. Ian Carroll, negative label connotation behind it. This is exactly what they do to Nick. Nick Fuentes, the white supremacist. Nick Fuentes, the anti-Semite, and he complains about it. This is Fed slop, Nick. Exactly how you're even starting to talk about this.
making videos about the conspiracy behind Red Lobster, the conspiracy behind Applebee's, the conspiracy behind Burger King. He does a live stream tonight and says, where are you, Nick? We're all aligned on this against the Jews, and you are agreeing with Crowder and Tim Pool and everybody else. We need you. Why are you with them? And I would say with Ian Carroll, where's the evidence? What even is that?
Okay, Nick, how about...
Man. Only people who have not looked at all at this case would say a thing like that. Where's the evidence? You're like, dude, overwhelming.
Nick, I would love for you to come on my show, and I want you to explain to me where all the evidence is for the theory you believe, which is the official narrative. Where's the evidence? Is a great question, Nick. Where is the evidence that Tyler Robinson was a lone shooter who carried this assassination attempt out somehow with a magic gun that he fitted in a backpack that you can't actually break down that small, and then reassembled on the roof and used a 30-06 to create a no exit wound? Like, yeah, where is that evidence? We would love to see it. That's why there's so much controversy with this story, is that there is no real evidence yet. We'll maybe see it in the court trial, but there's no evidence that really leads us to believe the official narrative, man. So yes, where is the evidence? Feel free, man. Please come on my show and explain to all the Green Berets and Navy SEALs and special operators and hunters that none of which believe this story. Explain why we're retarded. I would love to see it.
That's such a huge flex, dude. He's all, come on, dude. Like, with your extensive experience shooting human beings with different calibers of rifle rounds, run us through it, dude. Because, like, for us, you know, all the Green Berets and the SEAL Team 6 guys who are, you know, have, I don't know, certainly in a couple of the 6 guys who have been honest with me about it, they're like, we've got hundreds of bodies. Like, I'm sure like 99% of them shot with a firearm. It's like, you know, all of them are like, yeah, no, impossible. He's like, yeah, but I don't know, maybe not impossible. No, impossible. And then check this out. In Ian's video, whoops, where'd that go? There you go. In Ian's video, he goes and shows my buddy One Shot TV's clip where he actually had one of the ballistic dummy labs heads. Okay. Now, these things are actually very accurate in terms of the consistency of certainly of the bone. You know, like the ballistics gel is a little actually tougher than skin and flesh. Okay. The ballistic gel is actually harder to get through than just skin and bone. Like, my neck is non-existent. Like, I have a very, very muscular neck compared to Charlie Kirk. Okay. And like, I just feel this and like, bro, okay, watch this.
As you watch this video, that none of the evidence I'm going to present is Candace Owens saying things.
And I would say with Ian Carroll, where's the evidence? What even is that?
Sit tight. We got it coming here for you, bud. So let's start with the gunshot.
His head fell off.
I want to remind us all that at the actual scene of the actual crime, there was no exit wound. There was no blood splattered across the white.
Hey, and for the people who are asking me to do my video about is Charlie still alive, because that would explain everything, that's coming. I'm doing my analysis of that video that literally 50 of you guys sent to me next, right after this.
Backdrop, nothing.
And the round enters and just absolutely goes through the roast, through the bone of the roast, through the back of the roast, through the oriented strand board.
So if this 30-06 had hit Charlie in the neck the way we're told, it still could have gone through a concrete wall behind him and hit someone on the other side of the concrete wall. That was 3/8 inch.
Clean through 1/4 inch steel. Clean through 3/8 inch steel and 1/2 inch steel. Almost, or actually potentially.
Yeah. Okay. So you get the point, dude. 30-06. Give me a break. Also, though, just since, like, you know, if what we're talking about is like, is the FBI telling the truth, or is the FBI trying to, you know, fit a square through a circle? Let me also tell you, like, I did extensive research with my investigator into the other angle, which was, how about, well, what if Tyler Robinson's involved, but he's not a lone shooter? Okay. And let me tell you, guy, okay, I know you probably have not looked into that, because the only way you would have is if you saw my video. We did a lot more research than the FBI did in the 24 hours from when they came on the case to when they're like, we got our guy, dude, got our guy. Here are the text messages. Lance Twiggs, his little trans furry boyfriend. Okay, we connected him to Sky Valdez, who is another trans radical member of those militia groups who posted on the internet, Charlie Kirk dead at 31, August 11th, on the same day. That's a song. August 11th, the same day that they put up a picture of a prone shooter on a roof in the exact position that the shot was supposedly taken from, with the exact same mountain backdrop. Okay, so on Instagram, here is a prone shooter with a rifle from the exact spot that the shot was taken. And also, I also just made up a song, and it's called Charlie Kirk Dead at 31. Oh, and also, Robin Westman, the Minnesota shooter from a couple weeks before that, had a song lyric, actually the title of a song from Sky Valdez, written on his AR-15 that he shot up the church with. But I'm sure you knew all that, right? Like, is that a conspiracy theory, or is that just like people doing better research than the FBI, assuming that they're not intentionally covering something up, which it seems like they almost certainly are. Anyway, that's what we got for today. I love you guys. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Bye-bye.